Some of the best weapons in Dead Island 2 are the legendary weapons, and you can get some of these a lot earlier than you probably thought. By the way, as you level up, you can match these weapons to your new level, but it costs a decent amount of money and only becomes worth it if you wait a few levels. So for example, matching the level of this weapon costs like almost 20k, but if I wait 4 more levels to match it, it's still going to cost around 20k. Matching a weapon from level 23 to level 24 costs basically the same amount as matching a weapon from level 20 to level 30, so just don't match it every single time you level up. These stay powerful enough even 5 or 6 levels later. You can find this awesome Blood Rage legendary weapon not too late into the game, as I was only like level 18. It's a fantastic weapon that deals a lot of damage due to its bleed abilities, with its only real downside being its short range. But if you can deal with that, this is a really good weapon to have. To get this legendary dagger, you first need to head to the lifeguard tower over at the pier at Santa Monica, the sort of lifeguard headquarters. You'll come here for the very first time during the story, but if you progress through the story a bit more and then come back, like literally I just finished one more story quest and then ventured my way back to the lifeguard tower, it will trigger a new unique crusher to spawn here named Dante. If he does not spawn, just try to progress a bit further, maybe fast travel from the tower up there and then come back, but for me he spawned right away. Defeating Dante will trigger the Fool's Gold side quest to start, and if you loot his body you can find a note, and then checking his locker right around the corner will allow you to find another log. Now we need to hunt around the pier area for 2 more additional notes. The first one is directly north of us, just outside of the actual pier. If you run straight over there, really like not far at all, you'll find the Merry-Go-Round Cafe, and if you go around it to the alley next door, you'll find the next log on the ground near a trash can and some zombies. This is in the furthest northern corner on the map. If we head from that note, it's basically directly south. We can head all the way down to the opposite end of the pier. It's a pretty linear path where you have to walk through some fenced doorways, and eventually you'll be brought past the roller coaster and boat ride to the very end of the pier, and on a bench overlooking the water, you'll find the Meeting of the Minds, which will be our final clue leading to the treasure. You'll find the safe all the way back at the Lifeguard HQ, where we started the Fool's Gold quest originally, and you'll find it on the right hand side just outside of the building. There will be quite a few zombies here that you need to fight off, but then you'll be able to crack open the safe to acquire the Blood Rage knife.
Unlucky, boys.
The legendary machete, the Brutalizer, was one of my favorite weapons to use throughout the game, as you can get it after completing the 15th mission in the story, the Giant Slayer. You will also need to complete the Resurrect the Rex and Ballad of Ricky Rex side quests that are started in Beverly Hills as well. After that, you can head up to Francesca up at the northern portion of Beverly Hills at this red house. You can speak to her in her garage to begin her art project, which are various body art quests. For the Visionary body art, you will need 10 infected flesh from the zombies that you can drop into the bucket. For the Heft body art that you can pick up off of the nearby bulletin board, you'll need to use a sharp weapon and hit a crusher zombie's arms off until they fall off. For the Moist quest, you will need this material that comes from hacking off the slobber arms. I mean, I think you will still get it from defeating them in general, but I mean, why not just hack off their arms too? For the Spines, you need to defeat witches and then defeat 3 butchers to get the blade arms for the Vigor quest, and then now we will need 3 mutated hearts, obviously from mutators, for the Vigor body art. All of these enemies are in the nearby areas, and the mutators have a couple of spawns in the house here. One laying down on the first floor that you can snipe in the head for an easy kill before they mutate, and then there should be one upstairs as well. You can fast travel over here to Ocean Avenue, to the original mutator fight location to defeat him again, and then back to Beverly Hills to fight the mutators that should respawn if you need more mutated hearts. Once you do that, you can just fast travel somewhere else, then come back and then go into the backyard where you'll meet Francesca, and she will give you this legendary machete. The Brutalizer is a great way to hack off limbs of just about anyone. Even the screamers that are weaker to blunt weapons, the machete is good even on them. If you want a legendary pair of fire shooting brass knuckles, you can go ahead and grab the party starters. These are pretty good to mix up heavy and light attacks to literally melt anyone. Head to the Ocean Avenue area where you'll be able to start the quest inside of the mall, which contains the fast travel room, except we're heading to the first floor over in the backhand corner, the bathroom, where you will find the Dudes Who Chug note, which then triggers the Drunk and Disorderly Lost and Found quest. Now we can fast travel over to Venice Beach, and right down the road is a tattoo shop that we can break our way into, and if you hold the button and slide on inside, you'll find another note in the corner of the room immediately to your left. Down the road from there, we can head over to the weed store up to our northwestish area, and there are quite a few zombies here, but one of them will be in a green jersey named Cole, who drops our note leading to the weapon. I don't even have a clip of him here because he died from fire, but he is a green basketball jersey wearing zombie. We can now travel over to the other zone, the pier over in Santa Monica, where if we head towards the entrance area of the pier, there will be a crashed helicopter nearby, and beside it is the Pier Grill restaurant with some tables outside of it, and on one of those tables is our final note. If you leave that Pier Grill patio area and take an immediate left, you'll find the named Slobber, Jordan, spitting out some fire everywhere. Defeat him and grab all of his gear, including his keys, that you can bring over to Ocean Avenue. We're going to head really close to where we started this quest, except we're going to run right past the bathrooms and into the doorway that leads down to the parking garage, where we will now have the keys to open up this locked vehicle that contains the brass knuckles inside of the trunk. Next up we have the Emma's Wrath legendary sledgehammer, and while I think about every legendary weapon on this list is pretty dang good, I think I probably find myself using this one the most, just because prior to obtaining this, one of my favorite weapons was the sledgehammer. It has insane reach, a ton of force, and uses traumatized, so it works on just about every zombie out there. It's a blunt weapon obviously, but it also drains these zombies' stability, and as far as I know, stability is basically how long until they fall down, which with the shockwave perk is going to help you knock down enemies to cause a forceful explosion, meaning that you can knock down other enemies as well, but also with the superior melee impactor mod, which I think is one of the best mods out there, applies the traumatized effect like we already said, but hitting that traumatized zombie will send it flying. Plus any zombie it hits on the way will get damaged as well. And once the zombie falls down, you can press square to stomp it out to prime your hammer so that the next swing deals a shotgun blast, which is a pretty cool move to have. To obtain Emma's Wrath, it's actually very simple. You just have to complete the game. Once you complete the story, it will be inside of your inventory, and if your inventory was full when you completed the game, you can find it in your locker. The One Sword is definitely one of the legendary weapons out there. The One has the ability to regain stamina, and after maiming zombies, you'll be granted critical hits when hitting limbs. So just like most of the legendary weapons, the abilities kind of complement each other. It also comes with the superior melee mutilator mod to deal a lot more damage and weaken them, plus on top of that you're gaining more stamina for hitting them. To get the One Sword, you'll have to complete the Beacon of Hope side quest, and there are a few different issues here that make it way harder. To start Beacon of Hope, you first need to complete 2 lines of side quests as well as completing the story. First, you need to complete the It Came from Monarch Studios side quest, which I started at the Venice Beach HQ main room with the map and workbench by answering the radio. When you complete that, it'll lead you to the Terror of Soundstage 7 side quest, and you can start it at the radio here at Monarch Studios, where she called actually immediately as I passed by after finishing the previous quest. Completing the Stage 7 quest, you will unlock the Beacon of Hope side quest here at the Hollywood Boulevard, where you'll find Sebastian holed up in the safe room. However, if you're like me, you may also need to complete a second string of side quests in order to get him to pop up here. That is the string of side quests that involve Amanda Styles, starting off with Clickbait, where you can travel to an unmarked location at the Goat Pen Roof in Bel Air, where you have to complete her series of challenges. Then you can head over to the pier to find her on the roof of this building over here on the map. Again, not marked, like a lot of the side quests usually are marked, but afterwards you can head back to the lifeguard tower and find Amanda's phone on the desk to start the Going Viral side quest over at Hollywood Boulevard, where now after completing it, you should be able to find Sebastian in that safe room and then can begin the Beacon of Hope side quest, where you will unlock the legendary sword as a reward. The only legendary assault rifle, and as far as I know, the only AK-47 in the game, is the body count legendary assault rifle, which is a phenomenal weapon and maybe the best in the game, with its only downside being how fast it burns through ammo, even when tapping zombies in the head. But it's definitely worth it since it shreds through absolutely everyone. And what's crazy is I think you can go about getting this only after the 18th mission of the story, so you don't even have to finish the game. First, you will need to complete a couple of quests for Chief Rodriguez, who is holed up in the tower at Venice Beach. If you venture through the marine area and head over to the top of the tower, you'll find her there where you can complete the Cremains of the Day and then Diaries of the Dead side quests. After finishing those, you can head back to the camp where on the left-hand side sleep tent, you'll find a zombie named Lieutenant Ford. Defeat him and then loot him to find the redacted note, which refers to their secret stash of crayons. If you head back to the tower that Rodriguez, the warrant officer, was at, behind the tower you'll find some crates and some zombies. One of the zombies being Private Delgado, who has the supply key. Inside of the nearby crate 66, you'll now be able to head inside and smash the boxes to reveal a hidden crate. Opening that crate will complete the redacted Lost and Found quest and revealing the body count AK-47. Again, extremely strong and probably the best gun in the game. The coolest weapon in Dead Island 2 would probably be the Krakatoa legendary axe, and also probably the coolest name of a weapon, but it's got this skull face carved into the blade as well as being covered in flames. It's also just a great weapon to use. To get the Krakatoa, you'll have to head over to Ocean Avenue, once again where you'll find a bulletin board with some missing persons notes, each starting a lost and found quest. Once you complete like 3 or 4 of them, you should unlock the missing Steve lost quest, again on the bulletin board as well. You just have to keep fast traveling in and out of here after you complete some, which then brings you to Monarch Studios. If you're tracking this quest, it will bring you over to the big movie set area where you have to loot a note off a bed and spam loot in the kitchen as well as the phone on the back of the staircase in that same room. This brings you over to a trailer on the side of the building that has a bloater guy just chilling out waiting to insta-kill you if you attempt to run through. So deal with him and then head on into the right hand side of the trailer where you can now grab Sergio's note lying there on the floor and head back to our fast travel map to travel to Beverly Hills where Steve will be found up on the balcony. Just track the quest and it'll bring you to Steve. There are 3 different zombies here, a butcher called the Villain, a firefighter, and the Crusher. You have to bring each one of these guys over to Steve and wait until he tells you that you're allowed to kill them. You can damage them on the way to Steve, just don't actually kill them until he says to. It's a little annoying, but well worth it since afterwards he'll toss you the Krakatoa. If you want to be a real big shot, you can grab the legendary Big Shot pistol, which uses shotgun shells, but basically shoots like a grenade launcher. It's extremely powerful for crowd control or enemies in general, and not super expensive to use since it's using shotgun shells. First, you need to head over to Bel Air in the mansion, where you'll find Luciana out here on the grind in the living room. This starts the worst frickin' adventure in the game, the It's Not Your Fault side quest. Before leaving, make sure you've stacked up on ammo to the max that you can carry, and carry the most powerful weapons that you have so far. Because I don't know if it'll be the same for you, but this quest should be illegal, man. The quest is pretty self-explanatory and linear, just follow the markers, but you'll have to grab some keys from a guy's body in this caustic fog, unlock a red box in the same room behind a sewer drain, and then search the meat slurry that's near the opening of the sewer. There's another seismometer a bit later after climbing some stairs inside of another red box, and then it will lead you to this giant zombie nest that forces you to find the seismologist. After defeating the seismologist and using his keys to unlock the box, probably the hardest fight in the game will begin, because within this cramped area that you can't run away from, otherwise it will end the quest, you have to defeat the Voltic Screamer, the special version of the Butcher, and a Mutator, all coming at you at the same time. Try to get rid of the Screamer first as she comes out of the ground, and then use some of the walls to block the Mutator off while you deal with the Butcher. If you have to respawn, it does not give you your ammo back, so make every shot count. My weapons were also severely underleveled, so I had to leave and find a workbench to upgrade my weapons and use every last bit of my gunpowder for more ammo. After that, it was pretty easy though. So if you come prepared, it's not that hard. Afterwards, we can go back to Bel Air inside of the mansion to speak to Luciana again, who will throw the Big Shot pistol onto the ground. And that is every legendary weapon in Dead Island 2. Make sure you guys leave your comments down below on what your favorite weapons are in the game, whether they're even legendary weapons or not. There are also a ton of good unique weapons, and just weapons in general that aren't unique or legendary are just really good. See ya.